Hi friends, hi, how are you? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking on my face. Really appreciate it. So today's video is slightly different. I don't know if it's going to be successful or really interesting at all, but I use Notion and I like to track my unread books. So I have a physical TBR database, but I've mainly been using it to only really track every book that's not a classic, and I kind of want to rectify that today. I wanted this video to be just me going through my classics TBR, putting it on my Notion, and then maybe getting y'all's recommendations to see which ones I should prioritize. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I have my laptop here and I will go through my Notion, inputting them all in. I'm just going to talk to you. Kind of a chit-chatty video. Hope that's okay. We're going to start from the top, but I will show you the books. So at least there's that, right? Anyway, so I need to figure out what I want, like the information that I want. So I'm just going to go for just title, author, format, genres, even though they're mostly classics, but maybe it's like a gothic horror or something. And then that's it. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to delete this. Delete. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're actually just going to start. We're going to start. I'm kind of overwhelmed, lol. I can't believe I just lolled. Who am I? Lord in heaven. Okay, so the first... Do I start? Yeah, we're just going to start from there. I'm going to push this chair next to me. So the first one is technically Martin Chuzzlewit by Charles Dickens. I did DNF this. I got 229 pages of the way through and I DNF'd it. But I'm going to put it on my TBR so that I will eventually read it. The next one, I might go through this a bit quicker because we are going to be here for a while. But this one I actually got secondhand. It's Alexander Pope. Selected poetry and prose. So the next couple, I'm just gonna leave where they are. Because I couldn't see them. I'll just tell you what they are. So we have the Iliad, then we obviously have the Odyssey, the translation by Emily Wilson. We've got Ovid, the Metamorphosis, Verses, like, is it Ovid or Ovid? I've read Othello. Have I read Macbeth? I did teach a class about Macbeth. Henry V. Do a shitload of Agatha Christie. Oh my god, I have so much Agatha Christie. And I am going to technically categorize Agatha Christie as a classic. So I have read a few Agatha Christie. Okay, so I've read Death on the Nile, Murder on the Orient Express, Peril at End House. I've read those. But I haven't read... and I've read ABC Murders. But I haven't read Poirot Investigates. Why I have so much is because you can find them literally everywhere for like a couple dollars. I haven't read Evil Under the Sun. I have The Labours of Hercules. I have Appointment with Death. That sounds quite interesting, not gonna lie. And that was my last Agatha Christie. Oh, okay, I honestly thought I had more. And then we have The Portrait of a Lady by Henry James, which I should have known. Now, Henry James and I have a bit of a weird relationship because I read Washington Square and the Europeans, and I didn't like them. But I feel like everyone says to read The Portrait of a Lady. I also do have The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Now I have all of my Shakespeare's. We're putting them in, even though I have like a binder. of his stuff. I like getting the small New Penguin. I'll show you. You find these at like op shops. I really like these. They're really cute and I just love the designs of them. I don't know, they're really adorable. So I have a few of those. So we have As You Like It. Then we have All's Well That Ends Well, The Winter's Tale, Antony and Cleopatra. Oh my Lord in Heaven, why did I do that for? Henry IV Part 1. Okay. And Hamlet. That's all of my Shakespeare. I then have some of the Brontes. So the ones that I haven't read is Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. I've technically read Wuthering Heights and The Tenant of Wildflower Hall and Jane Eyre, but I really do want to reread them. But I won't put them on my TBR because I have read them, but I want to reread them. I then have Lady Susan and Other Works by Jane Austen, which is just a small like compilation book. I have read Lady Susan, but I think it has a couple of books that I haven't yet read, so I am going to put that book on my TBR. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the shelf. So I'm just going to move my little lavender vase. This is just dried lavender, some dried flowers. Okay, we'll start with what's up here first. Can you see that? So I've got Bram Stoker, Dracula. I've got Italo Svevo, A Very Old Man. Then I have Mrs. Dalloway and The Portrait of Dorian Gray in Italian because I want to collect like books in the language of the country that I visit. And then I have Only Dull People Are Brilliant at Breakfast by Oscar Wilde, which should be up there but is instead here. So let me input these three on my TBR. So moving on, we've got Cervantes, Don Quixote, I think is how you pronounce it. So that's gonna be plonked on my TBR. Is this necessary for me to do? No, but I really enjoy this sort of stuff. Then we've got Little Dorrit. Ugh, I feel like after last year attempting to read so many Charles Dickens books, I kind of have a bit of a weird relationship with him. I don't know. I then have The Mystery of Edwin Drood. I have Great Expectations, which I haven't yet read. I feel like eventually I will. Maybe even this year. We'll see. I don't want to put too many great expectations on myself. The pressure will kill me. I have read David Copperfield though, and I enjoyed that. I read that. Daniel Deronda. Let's move over my lavender vase. I'll also move this candle. Amazing. I got this for Christmas by my wonderful friend Tiffany, which I think I've already mentioned. In my weekly reading vlog, I talked about how she also gave me tea, but it's like basil and cucumber candle. It's delicious. Anyway, next ones we have Crime and Punishment. I've read Madame Bovary. North and South, love. Amazing book. Oh my god, did I put that on my favourite classics of all time? I didn't think I... Did I not put that in my favourite classics of all time? Whoopsies. The Last Man by Mary Shelley. Honestly, I didn't even know that she wrote other books other than Frankenstein, so when I saw it I was like, yes. I've read Frankenstein, I've read Resurrection, I've read Anna Karenina, of course. What's that one? The Death of Ivan Ilyich and Other Stories. I read a few of them from here. I'm going to put this entire book. Then we'll go up here to the plays of Oscar Wilde. I've also read a few of those, but I am going to put the entire book on this list because it exists as an entirety. De Profundis and The Waves. Got up here A Room of One's Own and The Voyage Out. I've read A Room of One's Own, but I haven't read The Voyage Out, so I might just put The Voyage Out. This one's done. This is kind of easier than I anticipated. So my screen right now, I'm going to do the noob way and just show you. This is it. These are the classics. I've got title, author, format, genres, and if it's on my physical TBR, which is a given, but I just like checking that box. So that's the classics that we've done. How exciting. Okay, next shelf, which is just this one down here. Okay, let's do something different and go from this side down, right? So the next two I haven't read. That's The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Is it S.Y.? Yep, S.Y. And The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Didn't the author say something like it was a bit like dodge and problematic? I don't remember. Okay, so these are the two books that I've got. Bell Jar, The Outsiders. I've read these two books here, which is Orlando and Persuasion, so we're going to go on to these ones. So I recently just read The Haunting of Hill House. I've read War and Peace, but I haven't read Dr. Thorne by Anthony Trollope, or is it Anthony? Anthony? I'm pretty sure that book is part of a series. Is it the Barchester?
Here's what I found.
We have Beloved by Toni Morrison, but I'm pretty sure I put that on my normal TBR. Let me just double check. No. Okay, so I must have put on my Goodreads one. The Brothers Karamazov. I'm reading this year. I'm telling you, I'm gonna do it. I want to read The Brothers Karamazov. Oh my god. I'm gonna do it. Watch me. Watch me. But don't watch too hard, just in case I don't do it. The Master and Margarita. Oh my god. These are all books that I want to read so soon. But I don't know if it's anyone else, but I read classics so much slower than normal books. It's just a fact of life, really. Then the last one down here is Ulysses by James Joyce, which, why did I do this to myself? But I was on a kick. And then we have a lot of Nietzsche. Nietzsche? Is that how you pronounce it? So we have on the genealogy of morals, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and Beyond Good and Evil. So we're going to put those three inputs in. Okay, and then we have my only Zola book, Emile Zola. It's Therese Raquin. I'm so sorry. I saw someone recommend this in my comment section, as in like the author, and I got so excited because I knew that I had at least one book by them. So I kind of cannot wait to read more Zola, because he is not an author that I've ever read. So okay, and then we have a shitload of just Penguin Black classics. So you can't really see them properly, and I apologize. So we have Jane Eyre, we have The Picture of Dorian Gray, we have Tolstoy's The Cossacks and Other Stories, Tolstoy's The Death of Ivan Ilyich and Other Stories. Yes, I have two versions of that book, because the Penguin Black Classics has different stories than the Wordsworth one, right? I have Turgenev's Father and Sons, then Anthony Trollope's Small House at Allington and Framley Parsonage. I then have Childhood, Boyhood, Youth by Tolstoy, The Count of Monte Cristo by Dumas, and then we have Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, Pride and Prejudice, and Madonna in a Fur Coat. So we have those there. I have read not a lot this stack, to be honest. I'm gonna put in the other story, like the story bind-ups by Tolstoy, even though I've read a few of them in these stories, because I need to finish them. So we'll do the Cossacks. I actually read the Cossacks and it was good. I feel like prior to when oh my god, did I just say, I just fucked that up. In the stories that were written before War and Peace came out, you can really see, like, track the trend of those types of themes that come out in War and Peace in his short stories that came out or were written before. It's really interesting. And then I am gonna, I think, sort this in some sort of like alphabetical order, maybe by author. I've read Turgenev, The Small House, and then we also have Framley. Is it Framley? Framley? Parsonage. Obviously Count of Monte Cristo. I kind of want to read that this year. I am on a mission. And then Madonna in a Fur Coat. I literally spelled coat wrong. Oh my god. By Subahatun Ali. Okay. Oh my god, that's that one done. We are on a roll right now. So exciting! Okay, the next one. You're just gonna have to literally trust me, bro. A lot of these I haven't read. I'm gonna do these at the bottom here. Can I push you down? If I push you down a little bit. This is a really weird angle. We've got all these down here that I'm going to put on my list. Shall we just start? Let's go from here. Right? What's down here? What's here? The Yellow Wallpaper and Other Stories. I've actually read The Yellow Wallpaper, but I haven't read the other stories. So we're going to put this on the list. This is a very strange angle. I don't really like it. I don't like it. I'm going to change it because it's giving me heart palpitations. Sorry about that, guys. I legitimately could not handle that. No, couldn't handle it. Sorry. Okay. I might just go on the floor soon. Actually, let's just go on the floor. You can kind of see the books, kind of not. I apologize. I will figure out angles the more I do this, I promise. So then we've got The Housekeeper and The Professor, which I actually desperately want to read. This looks really, really cute. Then we have some Radcliffe. So let's do this one. I actually do have another book by Yoko Ogawa. I then have The Italian by Anne Radcliffe. Is it A-double-N-E or is it just A-double-N? A-double-N. So these are the books on this shelf. That we're going to be inputting. So I haven't read this entire collection, so I'll put that in. Haven't read Dickens, haven't read Vanity Fair, haven't read The Warden and Barchester Towers. Nor these. I literally haven't read any of these. How embarrassing. So I'm going to put those in my list, as well as these. Phantom of the Opera, The Name of the Rose, The Remains of the Day I've read. Really loved that. I've read Norwegian Wood, unfortunately. Song of Solomon and another Gabriel Garcia Marquez book. Then all this. I am going to read this one day. Just maybe not anytime soon. Oh, Yevgeny Onegin. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm hoping to read that this year, actually. Okay, so I'm going to input all of these into my database like right now. Okay, so I just inputted those ones. So now I'm up to the last shelf. And I'm thinking, because this video is already going to be long for this type of video of content, I might leave the top of my shelf for like another video, part 2 of this one maybe. But this is what's on the super bottom of my shelf. I'll just show you. It's a bit of a war zone here. But we have obviously 100 Years of Solitude. It's only here because I literally can't fit it anywhere else. And then we have Cup of Gold by John Steinbeck, another Dickens novel, Tale of Two Cities. We have Passing by Nella Larsen, Intimations by Sadie Smith, which is not technically a classic. It's not a classic at all. Then I have The Infernal World of Branwell Bronte by Daphne du Maurier. I then have Far from the Maddening Crowd, Wessex Tales by Thomas Hardy. We have a few Daphne du Maurier books. We have Mary Ann, Rebecca, My Cousin Rachel, and Jamaica Inn. I've read these two. I need to read these two. I then have another Anthony Trollope novel, The Last Chronicle of Barset. We have The Mysteries of Udolpho, the illustrated international phrase book. Then we have the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit. Then we have The Mayor of Casterbridge and Jude the Obscure by Thomas Hardy. I've read Jude. Then we have another Thomas Hardy with The Woodlanders, and then Cranford, Cousin Phyllis by Elizabeth Gaskell, and The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy. These are my grandmother's. I think they're religious texts. They're in Greek. I then have the Quran. This one annoys me because it's like the Englishized, like the English version, They reprinted it now with like the actual spelling, the proper spelling. And then this is just like a random Zadie Smith book that I've got here because I don't know how I feel about Zadie Smith. And then Fence. These don't belong here, but they're there. So I'm going to input the classics on this shelf into my database, and then I think I'm going to end that for today, and then another time perhaps do all the way up there, you know. So that's the plan. So let me just input those and then get right back to you. So I just did it. So I think I have around about 90-ish books that are classics that are unread on my shelf, but that doesn't include the ones up the top, and I have a few up there as well, but I will do that in another video. But I'm not that annoyed at myself about it, actually. I think I love having classics because I like to slowly read them, so I don't feel as disappointed in myself than how I felt when I did my like non-classic books. So I'm feeling good. I think I'm gonna like double check, make sure everything is correct on my Notion, and then I will end off this video. And that's it for today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me as I embarked on cataloguing my physical TBR of classics. This year I am really hoping to get through a lot of my backlist because this is just ridiculous. That's really all I wanted to do today. How exciting! Let me know if there are any of these that I should prioritize in your humble opinion, and I will speak to you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you take care and stay safe. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye, friends.